It's a wonderful, wonderful day as the full team, yes, all of the Phillies are down in Clearwater for spring training. We've got baseball games coming up this week. And more exciting news before we start the show, we want to officially let everyone know and welcome our new sponsor. We've got to say thank you and welcome to Miller Lite, the new official beer of PHLY. So happy to have them on board. We're showcasing some Miller Lights here. Jamie, pull on out a Miller Lite there. Miller Lite beer, part of the Molson Coors family of beers, the official beer across PHLY and ALLCITY. Happy Monday. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch with a Miller Lite in hand.
I feel
Renee
like it
Washington
would be a little rude at this point not to welcome in our new friends at Miller Lite with a 11:03 a.m. Miller Lite, Renee.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, Jamie.
Well, and that's the beauty of Miller Lite.
Wait,
you can drink.
no.
Oh, you're joining me.
I am. Why not?
All right.
We gotta start this thing off in style.
I love these aluminum cans, by the way.
I know there's yeah.
Cheers. Welcome aboard, Miller Lite. Pumped to have you. Been drinking you my whole life.
Your whole life. From the womb, came out cracking open a Miller Lite.
Cracking Miller Lights.
Most babies cry. Jamie Lynch came out asking for a Miller Lite.
No,
that sounds like a great commercial.
Very excited to have Miller Lite on board with us for this fun Philly season ahead, Renee.
Yes, and we have 23 days until we're down in Clearwater ourselves, 35 days until opening day against the Braves.
I guess we're going to have to drink Miller Lights down there, huh?
I know, 5 days until we've got some baseball to watch. So it's an exciting Monday. Chris, you're, of course, getting the excitement started. Our very first person in the chat, coming in hot.
Chris Slemmer, nice work.
Chris Slemmer, yes. Definitely happy Monday to you. Jersey Kev, a second on the list.
That was
Dave
really
P.
cold. That was good.
It actually was really good.
It's really cold.
It is. Spiral Out, Dave P., John Sequella, Cleveland John, yes, the Cleveland John, the table better be empty by the end of the show. Well, they're ready. Well, we got a whole box here.
John says it's 5 o'clock in Spain right now.
It is always 5 o'clock somewhere.
You know what they say about those Spaniards? They love their Miller Lights.
Dave's saying shotgun it. Listen, you guys you're expecting a lot from us here. It's a Monday at 11, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So yes, absolutely. All right. So happy to have all of you guys here with us because not only do we get a chance to crack open some beer with you and hey, maybe go grab a Miller Lite yourself and join us to drink some beer at 11 a.m.
Yeah, hit that thumbs up for the Miller's Lite.
Bingo. Hit the thumbs up. Let's join the conversation because it is the first day of full roster training down in Clearwater, guys. It's happened. The full squad is here. The boys are back in town. And it's time to finally...
that was coming at some point.
I know. I mean, how do you not? It's our thumbnail. And when they come back into Philly, we're going to say it again. The boys are back in town. But we also have some news to get into. Bryce Harper spoke up and was talking to the media. Bryson Stott, Trea Turner had some quotes. Around the league, I see in the chat some chatter about Mike Trout. Yep, Mike Trout, Blake Snell. There's plenty to talk about today. We're going to do our best to run through it, and we'll see how long it takes. So... first things first, some logistics that were figured out. Spencer Turnbull, the deal, we finally got the details, $2 million plus $2 million in incentives. He's locked in, of course, this weekend. Thanks for all of you that checked out our emergency podcast because we also had the breaking news around not only Alec Bohm winning arbitration, but the newest Philly, Whit Merrifield, that's joined the team. And now we can take a deeper dive. We can breathe. We've had a chance, Jamie, to sleep on it, to process what this means for the Phillies and signing Whit Merrifield, who will be rocking number 9 for the Phillies, signing that 1-year deal, that $8 million contract. Of course, he's got the club option, so it's $1 million buyout. His salary this year will be $7 million with bonuses. And with that, he can max out at $16.6 million over 2 seasons. 35-year-old Whit Merrifield, an all-star, a utility piece, Mr. Super Utility, we should call him. And we'll give him a nickname. I know Mickey was saying the other day, Whit, I don't know. I gotta process a nickname. But Jamie, we've got our piece. You think this is it for the Phillies?
I heard I do. I heard Rob Ellis say on WIP, people are already calling him Whitfield, but not as like a nickname, as just a classic Philadelphia,
Okay.
butchering of the pronunciation. I tend to think it is kind of their last move. $8 million is what he's getting regardless if the team decides to walk away from him at the end of the year. So it's essentially a 1 year, $8 million deal, which is an expensive bench piece / utility guy.
Yeah.
I dove into his numbers last year to see exactly what his breakdown was of games at what position. And it went like this: 84 games at second base, 84 games in the outfield. 81 of those were in left field. He played 6 games in right field. I know 81 and 84 don't add up, but I'm sure there was some late game defensive replacements, or he switched mid-game, whatever it may be. So he's primarily a left fielder and a second baseman. Now, I saw some people out there saying, like, this move doesn't really do it for them. He's not the same. He can't really play center field. No, he can't. In Matt Gelb's article, he said, they might have some hope he can also play third, but it's primarily a left field, second base. We'll see. I think the Bryson Stott, struggle against lefties thing is completely overblown and ridiculous at this point. But Brandon Marsh can't hit lefties, so maybe on those days, if Brandon Marsh doesn't show you, he starts in left, gives Stott a break every once in a while, maybe offsets Bohm there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can move Marsh over to center field on a day that Rojas needs off. So he essentially does patch the center field insurance as well. So, there's a lot to like about him. I think what's best about this is at the end of last year, he kind of wore down and broke down.
Yes.
So if you don't have to put the miles on him of a full-time starter like he was last year, he might be able to sustain better numbers in August and September.
And that was the key thing that I took away as I was reading.
Sip some more delicious.
No, it's fine, because first of all, in the chat, let me point out some comments in the chat. I know you guys are talking about, the stadium series for the Flyers. Mickey Durkin, if I can shotgun. But sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But not right now. And Lisa, yes, we are drinking this morning. You are off from school, I'm sure, Lisa. So crack open a Miller Lite. Happy President's Day. You are off school. And of course, Spiral Out Jamie is reminding us, because yes, I've gotten more of you guys on my side of this. Happy 8th Monday of 2024. Spiral Out said it. I'm just reading what he said because, listen, we're here. But overall, and I'm not going to make comments on the fact that people are saying you're wearing Mets colors. It actually is not orange. It's the camera that's making it look a little bit more Mets. It's more of a coral.
No, I don't know what the hell this
whatever.
color is.
It's coral.
It's bright.
It's like a pinkish. But either way, the camera's making it look a little bit more Metsy than it is. But as you were mentioning, Jamie, overall, I feel like one of the biggest things I like about Mary. Dang it, what am I going to call him? I'm trying to just, Yoro just
let
came
it come
to me.
Just let it come to you. Don't force it.
WM, Dub M, Witty M,
just
Barry
call him
Barry.
Whit's fine.
Less is more with him. And I know people were talking about, is he coming in to take someone's spot? Is he going to be the replacement for Yoro if it's not working? He's anybody's replacement. If anybody's injured, if anybody's having a slump, if anybody just needs a rest, if anybody just needs, we just need a change up in the lineup, Witty is that guy. No, that wasn't it either.
No.
Whit isn't that guy. Like, he's that guy that can fit wherever is needed. So he's not coming in to take an individual spot. He's coming in to help everybody individually. But I think for him, with less is more concept for this season, because we do know the Phillies were looking to bring in somebody that's not an everyday starter. Whit Merrifield can be that guy that if he plays less games, because he's got a lot of miles on the tank, even though he didn't come to the majors until 27, he still has a lot of miles on the tank. He's a little bit older. So we saw the drop off last year, and I saw this go out. NBC actually was sharing this, that Whit was hitting.
He was hitting like 306 before
304
August.
with a 781 OPS through August 15th of last season, and then had a 30-game slump to close out the season. And so if you can get that 75% from him in the entire year, where maybe he's playing less games but still hitting around those numbers, that's what you want from Whit Merrifield. So I think Whit Merrifield overall, to be that piece where you don't need him every day, is going to be perfect.
Yeah, they said his exit velocity, or exit velocity off the bat in August and September dropped dramatically. And that's why they think it's just, a sign of him wearing down and playing every day. He's probably not that anymore. His exit velocity's plummeted, but before August, he was really, really good. I mean, he was an all-star type player. Now, the thing with him, there are some, I guess some mild negatives that he's not the same player he was, but who is.
Yeah.
Lost a little bit of speed. I think he got caught stealing 10 or 12 times last year. But what you're going to get is a professional hitter. We've talked about it, like decent average, not a great on base. But the good thing about him, which is kind of exactly what the Phillies were missing, is productive outs. He's not going to K a ton. I think he has around a 16 and a half
at bats.
Yeah, 16 and a half career K rate, which is pretty decent. But 1/3 of his outs last year were considered productive outs, meaning they either advanced runners or they scored a runner with less than 2 outs in the inning. So that's exactly what the Phillies needed, especially come playoff time, was more productive outs. Not swinging and chasing at stuff outside the zone. I think he's a guy more than anything that's just going to give you stability. And the other nice thing about him, too, is I heard my old friend Bob Cooney talking about this morning, lineup versatility. Not only defensively.
I love that.
But offensively.
Yes.
Like, you can kind of plug him anywhere in the lineup, really. I mean, maybe not lead off as ideal, but you have Turner and Stott and Schwarber there. But you can pretty much put him like 2 through 9 in the lineup. And, he doesn't have power number. I'm not saying he's a 4, but like if he needed to fill in at the 4-5, you feel as though you're at least getting a competent major league hitter up there.
Oh, yeah.
That knows what he's doing situationally, just a smart ball player. There's really not anything to dislike about this.
Witty is my guy. Listen, math teacher, Flyers Joe, Alan Mack, who's checking in from Victoria, Canada. What's up, guys? Nice to have some other friends joining us here live today, especially if you're off for President's Day and you get to join us live here. Listen, what I like about Whit, and guys, I'm going to get a nickname because I feel like Whit is just not giving what it's supposed to.
It's his name.
I know. I know, but I feel like I need a more baller name.
He's got to earn that.
He does.
Just like Jeff Hoffman has to earn number 23.
Yoro didn't just happen day one. Like, it took time for me to develop Yoro. So we're gonna take some time for Whit. But overall, as you're mentioning in the chat, I did see John Sequella mentioning that Whit was also dealing with a groin issue in the second half last summer. Whit Merrifield is exactly what I feel like. Okay, I'm not saying you guys didn't do this too, but I know for a fact I was on this hill manifesting versatility, because down the stretch, and we talked about this in our emergency pod, one of the most frustrating things to me was we all knew where the Phillies were struggling, but there were no alternatives for it. It was Jake Cave or Christian Pache was the only option for at-bats. Okay, what else can the Phillies do? And so this gives you, like you mentioned, not only in the fielding side defensively, but also at-bats that you have the potential to slot Whit in anywhere, Whit in anywhere needed. I know. Oh, gosh, I'm trying, guys.
Did you get it out of your system?
I did. I'm done. Okay. That might be the last one. Good. I just had to try those last names that were lingering in my brain, and none of them sounded great.
So now the question becomes, who's out? Is it
Old
Cave?
Man Whit.
So Cave and Pache, one of them is sweating now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I personally would say goodbye to Cave.
You don't even know his first name, so I feel like you're
Nick
definitely right from the go.
/ Cave, whichever.
Yeah.
I personally saw enough from Pache last year where I think he took some strides offensively that probably nobody saw coming as he came away from the Athletics. So I would keep him and the youth and the potential. Like Nick / J Cave is, you've seen what
bingo
you're going to get. The only thing is he has the advantage of being a left-handed batter, whereas Whit and Pache are right-handed batters. So if you want that little extra, offset of bats, maybe Cave gets the advantage there. But me personally, if I'm Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fold, I saw some pretty nice things out of Christian Pache last year. I would say bye-bye Cave. Both are out of minor league options. I know Cave has I think $1 million you have to pay him to so it's a more expensive dismissal. But for me, it's easy. Tyler, I don't know how you feel about that. I'm Team Pache over Team Cave. Cave gives you more versatility.
Definitely Team Pache.
And he is left-handed. I'm curious where you fall on that one.
I think that's certainly fair. I will say the one thing that I believe he does, and I'd have to go back and check, the one thing that we all know that Dave Dombrowski loves is options.
Yeah.
And my assumption is Pache may have one more.
He's out.
Okay.
Him and Cave are both out.
Then
That's why it makes it a tough.
If they're both out, then the decision, I think, probably comes down to, do they want a left-handed bat or not? Do they want a guy who that they feel is going to give them defensive value
and can play first,
and Jake Cave can play first? So you're weighing all of these options. I think,
but if it's just a ball player, I want Pache.
On the onset, you want Pache, and I don't think there's a question about it. But it wouldn't surprise me.
I know. But Cave's the favorite.
The alternative too. The other thing too is, like, if you're going to have to pass one of these guys through waivers, who do you think you're going to be able to retain?
Right.
And the answer is Cave.
Yeah. I think Pache gets scooped up.
If you put Pache through waivers, Pache is going to get claimed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I know in the chat we're getting a lot of input. Starting on the nickname side, Lisa's saying Whit does not need a nickname, but I see a lot
His name is already kind of nicknamed.
It is, and it's just short. A one-syllable name doesn't really need a nickname, so I hear you on that. But I do see some other possibles. Chris Lemmer is saying the Wister. Ray is saying ABC, anybody but Cave as his nickname. John is saying the Wistmeister, Wittinator, Witterama. Wow. But in terms of the conversation, and Whit Stillman.
It reminds me of Rob Schneider.
Dave, but I know.
That SNL skit.
But in terms of the discussion of who should be sweating the most, I'm seeing various things in the chat. I agree with you guys. John is saying that he would keep Cave over Clemens. Pache is basically an older Rojas. Hypothetical Man's imagining that Cave stays, but Castro is out. I see also, Dave, you're saying I like Cody. Pache has good speed, Mickey, you're saying.
Yeah, he's got youth and
Scott,
athleticism.
you're saying,
That's
what's up, Scott? Yeah, Scott is saying Cave will stay, Castro will be out. I think, listen, it might not be Cave or Pache, but someone's going to be out.
Rodolfo, has a minor league option. That was the whole point of keeping him behind.
They also, too, you got to think about it, and John points it out, right? So the backup catcher's got a spot, so Stubbs is making the team.
Yeah.
Your best utility infielder is... Well, now it's Whit Merrifield, but prior to that, it was Edmundo Sosa. So those three guys are locks for the roster.
Castro does nothing for me.
You probably have one more roster spot. I would think you're going to carry 13 and 13, unless they decide to go 14 and 12, which would be surprising. I think you're going to carry one more bench piece, and that's where it comes down to
Cave's going to make it,
Clemens,
but I think it's a mistake.
Clemens and Castro do not factor into this unless one of them play exceptionally well in spring training and
Castro will be in Lehigh Valley.
Force a hand. They're both going to be in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah. And something where I don't have to sweat when I go to my local beer store.
Yeah.
I just go, I know what I'm grabbing. I'm grabbing Miller Lite, because from holiday gatherings to office parties to the golf course to going to the pool with the family, I always know Miller Lite is there for me. These aluminum bottle cans are delightful. So super cold. And you can make moments even better with Miller Lite. The great tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year. It's perfect time for friends, family, and great tasting light beer. Almost every single family event I go to, there's a 30 rack of Miller Lite out on the deck. When I go golfing, I either grab some Miller Lights from Walt at the bar, or, I stash a couple in my bag that Walt doesn't need to know about. But it's a great tasting light beer. And look, it's going to be beach season soon. It's time to get swole, Renee. It's time to cut some weight. And Miller Lite, 96 calorie light beer. 3.2 grams of carbs for every 12 ounces. Miller Time is always a good time. It's the original light beer since 1975, and it's still the best one. It's brewed for its taste. If you like beer, you like Miller Lite. It's easy drinking. It's cold. It just hits when the sunshine is out. I can't wait to crack a Miller Lite at Frenchie's in left field down in Clearwater. It's the taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who like beer. Simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and the iconic golden color. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/PHLY Phillies. That's MillerLite.com/PHLY Phillies. PHLY Phils to find delivery options near you. You can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much everywhere they sell beer. That's one of the other beauties. You're traveling around the country. I went on a dude's golf trip a couple weeks ago. Miller Lite's everywhere I go. I don't even have to think about it.
We love
Taste
that.
like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs for every 12 ounces.
Ah, the good stuff. And as you talk about getting swole, because it's summertime, it's time to get your beach bodies ready.
Yeah, 96
And it's
calories.
also time to get your Clearwater bodies ready because we are headed down to spring training ourselves. We've got the countdown here, 23 days. Did you finish that? Because Mickey said you were making him nervous.
Just about.
All right. 23 days until we are down in Clearwater. You guys can actually join us because we're having our very first PHLY spring training takeover. You can hang with us, but more importantly, you can hang with Phillies legend Charlie Manuel. You can also be able to celebrate your St. Patrick's Day with the Booze Cruise because on St. Patrick's Day, we're going to be riding out on a private yacht with a catered dinner, drinks. What's better than that? Oh, wait. Also, you get a chance to go see the games in action. And with the Philly Sports Trip, who we're partnering with, they do a fantastic job of planning everything for you. They're going to plan transportation, the food, the drinks, all the fun, the excursions, game tickets. So Philly Sports Trips is going to make sure it's an entire experience for you, where from flights and hotels to game tickets and transportation, you don't have to worry about it. You can show up and be ready to have fun. So again, we're headed down to Clearwater March 13th through the 18th, which is just 23 days from now. And with our trip coming up soon, make sure you do not miss out on this opportunity. Don't wait to book. Head to allphly.com/events to learn more and book your trip today. You've been seeing our spring training lower third. It's happening, guys. We're getting closer to warm weather. All right. As we are also getting closer to warm weather, that means we are also getting closer to this official start of the season. And with that, we've been hearing more and more since the full team. I know.
5 days till Phillies baseball.
5 days, guys.
I wish every game could be broadcast.
5 days till game time. Do you know what jingle I'm trying to copy?
$5 football.
Okay, that was an easy one.
Yeah, all right.
Ah, dang it. All right, so with 5 days until game time and the whole team down in Clearwater, we've had a chance to hear from the guys because the boys are back in town. Now, there are quotes coming around because we're getting the chance to hear from the Phillies talking to the media. Let's start with Bryce Harper, though, because Bryce actually had a lot to say, starting with talking about his new teammate, Whit. He was saying
Just Whit. Just Whit.
Bryce is saying how excited he is about Whit and how they actually spoke about 2 weeks ago and had some conversation about Philly and things like that, and how Whit is excited to be here. He's going to be great for the team. He's had a great career. Even when he was younger at South Carolina as a 2-time national champ. And he's a veteran guy. And you know, Jamie and Tyler, how much I love the idea of the Phillies adding another veteran guy, because that was also something I was really harping on. As a 35-year-old, he's a vet in the clubhouse. He's going to bring that into the team. Bryce was saying
34. Let's not age him. Isn't he 34?
No, he's 30. I mean,
34.
He's
Let's not
30.
age him.
I've heard 34
Maybe
and 35.
35 this season. I think he's still 34.
Bryce said he was 34, and whatever Bryce says goes. Okay,
right.
That's what Garrett Stubbs says. Whatever comes from whatever number 3 says, and let me tweak that, goes. He is 35, so Bryce is a man of all the truths. But I did see some reports having him at 34. I think maybe he just celebrated a birthday. I don't know. The point is, Bryce was saying how much he's going to be great for the team, and that's why we're excited about this.
Just turned 35.
Okay, there it is. That's why we're also excited about this as well. Now, other things that Bryce was talking about, of course, the first base discussion, Rhys Hoskins discussion. And so he was saying how, we heard this before, he wanted to do whatever. He was on board with anything that the team wanted him to do, whether that was right field, whether that was first base. He told them that, and he just feels like as a collective, they said, first base is where we want you. And he was like, okay, I'll do everything I can to be there. And that's what I want to do. And so, I feel like this is our first chance since we are finally in the spring training to hear directly from the guys. We haven't had a chance to hear from them. We've heard more from Dave. We've heard more from just reports. But to hear him even just speaking on his buddy Rhys's departure, kind of was like, oh, it was that reminder that it's real. Rhys is gone. Bryce is our everyday first baseman. One down. About 20 more to go. But yeah, I was like, yes, I'm excited about this, but it was a little bit emotional, but it was exciting at the same time.
Yeah, I think Bryce Harper probably really liked the adrenaline rush of playing first base compared to right field, and never really wanted to say, I want to play first base, because that meant, he was basically forcing Rhys Hoskins out the door. Mm-hmm. I believe the Phillies also probably would prefer their heart and soul of their team, takes the wear and tear off of his body of right field. One, you're not taxing your arm on throws as much.
Right.
Two, it's just you don't have to run and dive as much. It's a less injury prone position. So, they still have 8 years remaining on Bryce Harper's contract. So I'm sure John Middleton and Dave Dombrowski were like, Bryce, you were already great at it. Just go to first base. It makes things better. We'll be the bad guys that says we wanted you to do this so you don't have to sweat Reese. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him play first base all year. He was exceptional at it right off the bat. So you would imagine he put in even more work in the offseason. Mm-hmm. John's been tweeting out videos. Our own John Foley, if you're not following him yet, 2008 Phils with a Z. Follow him. But they were doing fundamental practices today. I'm sure Bryce got even better at first. So it's going to be fun to see him play first all season. Looking forward to it. And most importantly, it removes Kyle Schwarber from ever having to play defense again, which my eyeballs and sanctity thank Rob for and Dave for making that decision.
Yes, we thank you very much for making that happen, because we don't have to see Kyle Schwarber out in the field at all, and we can have him as DH, and we don't have to see we get to see a great Bryce Harper at first base, but we also get a chance to see Kyle Schwarber down in Clearwater right now, because our own John Foley has been doing, as you were mentioning, Jamie, a great job of providing insight, giving videos, pictures, sharing what's going on. He was all weekend also around the team. And so he did have this great clip of Kyle Schwarber that you guys can take a look at, because, guys, the boys are back in town. Look at a skinnier-looking Kyle Schwarber doing his thing. It's time to finally be able to see the guys back out batting. They're in the cages. We're seeing bullpen sessions. We're seeing batting practice. We're seeing them running the bases. We're seeing them even just walk around and interact with fans. We love this. Kyle Schwarber, I will say, definitely looks a lot thinner. He was
drinking those Miller Lights all off season.
He must have been. Yeah. He's looking a lot more. It's giving slimmer. It's Kyle Slimber.
We don't have to do that. We don't. But the best part of seeing Kyle Schwarber hitting in the cages right there is the guy immediately off his back left foot behind the cage. Charlie Emanuel. And John put a video out. Charlie was out on the field as they were constructing the batting cage. Like, he was waiting for guys to get to the plate. It's great to just see him in his happy place,
and that's what Cleveland John saying Uncle Charlie in his natural habitat.
Yeah, like just leaning on the rail. Like, I remember Jimmy Rollins used to say, like, the best baseball conversations I had in my life were with Charlie behind the batting cage. Just watching guys, pointing stuff out, talking, philosophies and situational stuff. It's great to see Charlie leaning against the cage there.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks to John for sharing that with us. He's not able to join us on the show live today because he actually is out at batting practice, interacting, grabbing some footage, covering it. But he will be joining us tomorrow. He should be on the show with us live tomorrow to be able to,
John says Renee's not allowed to drink at 11 a.m.
I saw that. I had a sip. This is me every day, all day. Y'all know this already.
It is.
This is 1,000% me. It's not the Miller Lite. But I will say it does make me feel a little bit lighter. Oh
my God.
All right. So
you're like 0 for 70 today on these puns. I don't think you've hit one yet. It's the worst parlay ever.
That's a knee slapper. All right, so Bryce is also talking. I'm so corny, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm funny and sometimes I'm just not. And today's just one of those not funny days. So
I mean, you're trying. It's not slowing you down.
I know, I'm trying. One of these is going to stick. So then Bryce was also talking about the extension conversation because, as we know, that's been something that we've talked about a lot in this offseason. And listen, this is what Bryce had to say. There's been communication there between myself and Dave Dombrowski and also Scott and Dave as well. Obviously, I want to be here for a long time. We'll see what happens. I want to be here for a long time, playing into my 40s. That's the biggest thing for me, so I wanted to get that done. Bryce, we would love to see 40-year-old Bryce Harper still playing in Philly at a high level. We want to see that get done also. But, I mean,
I don't get the feeling from the Phillies that they're in any hurry to give it to him. You know, Dave Dombrowski, like 2 weeks ago on WIP, said, "Yeah, anybody can want anything." And I was like,
I want $1 million myself.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, damn.
I want to be funnier.
Like, he kind of just came out and said, like, you know, that's a pretty nice contract you have. Be happy with it. But, you know, with these Otanis and Yamamotos and, you know, the price, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Bingo.
That's why you got an 11-year deal or a 10-year deal, whatever it was. You know, like, that was a sacrifice you made at the time.
Yeah.
And you might have to just tell your agent to go get you some more endorsements to make up for it. Like, I don't feel bad for Bryce Harper. I don't think anybody does. I certainly understand where he's coming from with an annual, you know, salary that's going to be, it's like 24th in baseball or something, isn't it? When you take into account all the pitchers, it's like in the mid 20s.
So,
and he's going to be an MVP candidate most years he plays. So, like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't care.
Yeah, so here's
Like,
here's
you're
where
fine.
Exactly. Here's where the numbers stack up. So obviously we know back when Harper inked that $330 million contract at the time, it was the largest. And then Mike Trout beat that later. Now Bryce's contract ranks 8th all time in total value behind Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, and Fernando Tatis. And then also in terms of AAV, his is 46th all time, and currently in the league, I think we had him at like 26 at one point.
Yeah, he's like somewhere right in the mid-20s.
Yeah, so obviously others are getting more money than him because the market is going up
but
versus
Phillies,
where it was.
I like to hear that out of them. Like,
I do.
You signed the deal, dude. Like, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
We'll address you in your early 40s in a couple years, but we still have 8 more years until we get there. So, like, deal with it.
That's what Lisa's like. You sign what you sign, and you know, plan accordingly. And thank you guys for the props for my comments. I'm getting some
they like
positive.
the attempts.
They like my attempt. It's feeling like open mic time, and you guys are snapping away in the chat. I appreciate that. All right, so Trea Turner also was speaking up about a bad look for the jerseys. Listen, we talked about it when they came out. The font being smaller on the nameplates on the back of the jersey. But the most alarming part of it is the fact that the material is not good. Like, you are not getting professional quality jerseys. And so Trea was saying, I know everyone hates them and wanted to keep it the same way for the most part with some tweaks here or there. I always live by the motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, the jerseys were fine. The material was fine.
Yeah, but it wasn't the vapor technology.
Okay. Like, sit it down with this vapor technology.
There was some positives, although the press release came from Major League Baseball, so you kind of have to, like, question its authenticity. I think Ronald Acuna and a couple others, like, said, oh, they like the way it feels, and they like it fits better. And I was like, that seems like Rob Manfred was like, quick, issue a press release saying some players that are really good like it. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. I mean, they just look cheesier. Like, the nameplate is so much tinier.
Exactly.
So I think, why would you make the names tinier? Like, people want to see.
If you're trying to build more of that name recognition for fans,
most Philly sickos are going to recognize 45 Zach Wheeler. Okay, I don't need to see it.
You're trying to reach the other fans.
Like, you know, new people are coming to the ballpark all the time. Kids, you know, MLB's on the uptick in personality, or in, you know, their personality shining, and it's kind of becoming cool again. And it's like, you're going to make the names smaller? Like, what the hell, Nike?
Yeah, it's odd. It's too much. Because I just feel like they're overthinking things, and they're trying too hard to find a way to maybe cut down on probably the cost of what it makes.
That's all it boils
down to. To make jerseys, to make more money and increase the profit. There's always, the bottom dollar is always what's the factor behind everything. Also, we've got another Bryce on the Phillies. And no, it's not first name Bryce. The Phillies have officially announced they've signed right-handed pitchers Austin Bryce and Ricardo Pinto, and outfielder David Dahl to minor league contracts with invites to big league camp. Phillies still making some minor moves around there.
Yeah, Ricardo Pinto had a stint with the Phillies before, previously. His numbers at the Caribbean World Series. Are you a Caribbean or a Caribbean?
It depends on the vibe of the day. I say both.
Tyler?
There's a distinct difference. So when you are going there or you're speaking about it, it's Caribbean. But if you're talking about the movie or the ride, Pirates of the Caribbean.
So you think this
Actually,
is
the movie
this
factor,
is the
you
Jack
never
Sparrow effect?
You never say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates
you
of
do
the
always
Caribbean.
say Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's the
Caribbean.
It's the Caribbean series. Yes.
Yes. But nobody like hears Caribbean and says like, "Oh, you're wrong." Like it's just
like if I say I want to go
ways.
to the Caribbean islands or I want to go to the Caribbean. I mean, like
I'd like
I
to
don't
be in
know.
the Caribbean.
I'd love to. Why did you have to go there?
Yeah. Well, anyway, Ricardo Pinto in the Venezuela, league and the Caribbean series put up some really phenomenal numbers. He got a minor league invite or a minor league contract with an invite to big league camp. He's probably just a camp body, but those are like real deal, professional hitters in those 2 series he played in, and his numbers were spectacular. So why not? It seems like they're just throwing a wide lasso out on a ton of guys with minor league options and seeing what they can, turn into gold. And it's a good philosophy to have. Welcome back, Dick Pinto.
Yeah, it's nice to see that.
I don't know if Ricardo and Richard exactly translate.
I don't know that it does. I don't know. I know Richard does, but
Dick Pinto's sounds like a good something.
Don't do it.
No. Okay, so I
was thinking like
on.
private detective.
I'm gonna just let that stay right there. And let you like marinate in that. Because I don't know. I don't know what to say back. To be honest,
Dick Pinto sounds like a detective. Doesn't he?
Hey, I'm
It's a detective
Dick Pinto.
What's going on here?
Reporting for LAPD.
So we'll see.
I don't know.
Most of those guys you don't have to worry about. Maybe they.
And I'm the one with bad nicknames.
Yeah, we'll see him in Lehigh Valley.
So exactly. Now, some other things. Bryson Stott was talking about Aaron Nola. We know Aaron Nola, and actually he reiterated this recently to the press and to the media about how the Braves had interest and the business part of free agency. A lot of teams were looking for pitching. It was part of the process. He wanted to go through it and talk to teams. The Braves, of course, were interested. And not only is Bryson Stott happy, we're all happy that Aaron Nola did not go to the Braves and stayed right here in Philly. But Bryson Stott did have some nice things to say about his comrade, Jamie, about, there's no better person in the clubhouse. He's a really good pitcher, but a better person, one of the best pitchers in the league, and he respects everyone and everyone respects him. And it's really big for him to be back. Aaron Nola just seems like that guy that nobody really has any qualms or quarrels with.
Yeah, I think when you're like a steady personality, whether it's Game 6 of the World Series or day 1 of spring training, if you're just like steady and reliable and people know what to expect from you, I think that goes like a long way. When you're together, 200 plus days of the year, like knowing that Nola's not going to come in like pissy one day or like, super like bubbly fake the next day, and like just being steady, I think is key. And it's cool to see a quote like that from a young guy who recognizes what Nola brings to the club outside of the pitching. Yeah,
and then I know Stott was also talking about Turner.
They were busting each other's balls. It was pretty funny. So they were working on their double play techniques all this weekend. And again, follow John Foley at 2008 Phils with a Z. He's been posting a ton of great videos of just, the guys working out in the batting cages and just the true sicko baseball, like, itch to scratch here.
Yeah.
And Stott and Turner were together a lot this weekend and busting stones. And Turner was talking to NBC Sports Philly in the locker room and basically just said, like, yeah, there's no reason Trea shouldn't have more stolen bases. He's supposed to be the fast guy, yet I got more stolen bases than him. That shouldn't be the situation. He should have more than me. So it's almost like he's kind of challenging him a little bit. And then they asked Turner about it, and he said, yeah, I do think there's some more opportunity for me to steal this year. He's like, I gotta catch up to Bryson, and it seems like they have a pretty good relationship going there. The lockdown of the middle of the infield for the next, probably, what does Turner have left now? 9 years? Yeah. What was he? He was the 11-year deal. Harper was 10, so I think he's got 10 more years here. And Bryson Stott's probably going to be here for the better part of the next decade. So,
right.
Those two better be best damn friends. They're going to be here for a long time.
Exactly. I like that. I know Cleveland John does not like the fact that you have a Starbucks cup. You're basically chasing your Miller Lite with Starbucks.
That's a good combination.
Sure.
Yeah. Caffeine and Miller. That's the beauty of Miller Lite. It just goes well with everything.
As we speak.
Whether it's caffeine, a burger, a grouper sandwich. Miller Lite's versatile. It goes with everything.
Okay, look at you putting in an extra plug. I like that. Just another casual ad read there, or Yeah.
Natural. And if you were looking for some excitement this offseason, well, The Sixers boys are taking over the Wells Fargo Friday night, the 23rd. This is a great game. The All-Star break is over. The Sixers are looking to, get some good news on Joel Embiid here in the month of March. But they're looking to finish the year strong. And they have the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you can join Derek, Kyle, and Devon this Friday night. Only 10 tickets are left, so get them while you can. Head to allphly.com. You'll see the events tab up top on the calendar. You can grab your tickets right there. And if you're on the site and you like what you see and you want to become a diehard, well, a diehard membership gets you discounts to these type of takeover events and other things we're doing. So maybe you want to become a diehard. You get a free piece of merchandise every year. You get 20% off events. So you get tons of great stuff like premium written content from Bo, Zach, Charlie, John, Kyle, Derek. Ton of great stuff going on with the written content from those guys on the Die Hard membership. You get that free shirt. You get the members-only Discord. I'm a big Discord guy now, so have a good time in there, chopping it up with all the diehards of PHLY. So make sure when you're on the site, you're thinking about Die Hard. It gets you 20% off the takeover tickets on Friday night. So if you want to go to the game with Devon, Derek, and Kyle, by becoming a diehard, you'll automatically get 20% off the takeover on Friday night. Yeah. So think about it. 20% off all merch and events we do. Head over to allphly.com and join us, the best sports fans in the city.
All right. While we're learning about our team's updates, my apologies because we've been doing a disservice to Whit. It is Whitley. Whitley David Merrifield. Whitley with an EY.
I won't be calling him that.
Whit is his nickname. Oh, gosh.
That's such a lax name. That's a
lax
I'm not going to lie. I actually was more okay with his first name being Whit. But Whitley David.
Well, don't bring his parents into this.
I'm not bringing his parents into it.
You just said that they have poor taste in names.
All right.
It's a bad name. It's a bad name.
I don't know where it came from. Maybe
Whitley?
It's a family name.
It could be an old family
Maybe it's
name.
passed down from his grandma.
I don't care if it came from as far back as Noah's Ark. It's a bad name.
I've heard way worse than Whitley.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
Whit's definitely better.
Whit, you earned yourself the nickname. It is just Whit.
Yes.
But Jersey Kev, John, Dave, Mickey, Cleveland, Will, what's up, Will? Hit that thumbs up button while you guys are here. Let's join the chat because we've got to get into our third baseman rankings.
Loaded
now,
position.
We have been ranking each position based off of our projected anticipated thoughts heading into 2024. It's based off what we've seen in the past, what we think they're going to do in 2024, and who we think is going to be the best. Third base was very difficult. And I know I started this last week. I worked on this for a few days of kind of changing the names around because it's loaded, like you're saying, Jamie. So I'm going to start things off. My number 5 for third base, and you need to put some respect on his name. He won a Gold Glove. It's Ke'Bryan Hayes. The youngster has been left off of some top 10 rankings for third base and disrespected. And I think just like he proved himself in winning a Gold Glove and knocking Arenado off of that streak, he's going to do the same thing this year and prove that he's a top third baseman. Listen, the numbers that he put up, 61 defensive runs saved at third base over the past 3 seasons. He ended that decade-long streak of the NL Gold Glove wins by Nolan Arenado when he was actually what many would have thought shorted and should have won it the year before. And at 26 years old, last year was a huge step for him at the plate as well. He raised his OPS by more than 100 points after hitting 244, 314, 345 in 2022, increased his numbers offensively, continues to be a great defensive piece. And I think this year, because he's being left off, you guys are giving him some extra motivation if you don't include him on your top 10. He's going to be a top 5 third baseman. Ke'Bryan.
Wow. I do not have him in my top 7, but he's a very good player.
Listen,
I probably have him
underrated.
8th on my list. No, I think he's one of those guys that's emerging for sure. He's not, I don't know. He's a very good player. He certainly could be top 5 at the end of the year. No doubt about it. I'm going to start off with another young pup at number 5. So 6 and 7, I'll give you. I had Rafael Devers and Nolan Arenado, which shows you how freaking good third base is, that those guys aren't even in my top 5. I'm going to go with the young kid, Gunnar Henderson. Had a 6.2 WAR last year as a 21 and 22-year-old. One of those faces of the franchise. with Rutschman there for the Orioles as they turn their quarter. Pretty consistent 255 hitter, 82 RBIs last year, almost approached 30 home runs. So if he takes that step up into like the mid 30s, like 33, 34 home runs, I think this kid could even be higher than number 5. He's only 22 years old still, which is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going Gunnar Henderson, number 5.
Guys, I love that we all selected a young, rising third baseman for this list. And Renee, you talked about putting respect on Ke'Bryan Hayes' name because the glove has always been there and the offense is improving. I'm going to go the inverse. Put some respect on my man's name because the offense has always been there. And once the glove gets a little bit better,
Michael Franco.
This kid, any day now, Jamie. Any day now. I think that this kid is a certain. And again, this is tough because this means, like Jamie, like you said, you're leaving some legit stars.
This is the toughest one.
This is really
this
hard.
Positional group. But I'm going to go with a projected player as well at my number 5. I'm going Isaac Paredes at number 5 for the Tampa Bay Rays. 31 home runs last year.
He was a fantasy savior for me last year.
Offensively, the kid is improving drastically. 31 home runs for the first time in his career. 98 RBI last year. Just a 250 average, but an OBP of 350 because it's funny, guys. This guy doesn't strike out. You see a power hitter, right? And you go, okay, that's 25% strikeout rate. This guy's strikeout rate last year was at 18%, and his walk rate was at over 10. And the one thing to me that makes me think that this guy takes an even bigger step next year, guys, his BABIP last year was 257. The league average is 292 or so, which means that on the balls that he put in play, he almost was like a hard luck loser. And that means to me that he maybe takes a bigger step in 2024. I really like Isaac Paredes' game, and I think he is going to continue to grow. A lot of really good young third basemen on this list for all three of us.
Yeah, I was listen, again, everybody you've named, I was toying with their names in my list. I do love I just want to make a quick shout out in the chat to the Whitley comments about a different world because I love that show. I still watch that show. And yes, Ray, I just had to have a Braun in my top 5 because Brauns are always top 5 for me. Now, my number 4, Alex Bregman. Now, he's had kind of an up and down stretch. When you look at his numbers in 2020, 2021, down years, then in 2022, came back on the up and up. 2023 was just okay. He has hit 22 homers, slash for 268, 364, 444. His on-base percentage leads all third basemen, and he's got the second lowest strikeout percentage. And then also 7 defensive runs saved and 2 OAAs. He is someone that I feel like just produces a lot on both sides of the ball. And I think this is going to be another up year for him. Just seeing the way that he rebounded after 2021 to have a strong year in 2022. We know the fluctuation sometimes that players go through. And I imagine this year is going to be a better year for me. He had a 4.9 WAR, 122 OPS last year. And I think with 25 homers, 90 RBIs last year, we're going to get a solid Alex Bregman this year. And he's going to be a top third baseman at number 4.
I also have him at number 4. Slightly lower WAR than Gunnar Henderson. But I think the model of consistency is what keeps him on this list. Like, he's always going to be like pretty much 100 runs scored, 100 RBI type of guy. His power, he's shown he can get into the 40s once. He's been in the 30s, I think, once or twice. Was down around 25 last year. Just as consistent can be. On base for his career is 373. This guy knows what the hell he's doing in a batter's box. Tremendous player. Alex Bregman, number 4 for me as well.
Next. That's it. That's all I got to say. It's Alex Bregman at number 4 for me as well.
Wow. We all had him at 4.
Okay,
There was an internal monologue for me between Alex Bregman and Manny Machado. And Manny Machado, I'm just going to qualify for you now, just missed my list. And I know people are going to go, what are you, nuts? He's not on your top 5
He's not in
all.
your top 5.
It's not in my top 5
He's
at
not
all.
in my top 5.
Alex Bregman at number 4
Nope.
I'm going to echo basically everything that you two just said, and we can kind of move on.
Yep. Listen, Spirala, I'm glad you love these segments. What I love about these segments is that we are not, sometimes we're the same. Like, we all have Alex number 4, and sometimes we are very different. I'm going with the first player ever for the Orioles to unanimously win AL Rookie of the Year, Gunnar Henderson, as my number 3. I know you had him at number 5.
Yeah, he certainly could be higher.
Listen,
This
Gunnar
kid's
Henderson
awesome.
he's so young and so talented, and everything that Jamie said plus 1,000. That he absolutely lived up to the hype that we expected. And I don't even think we've seen the best gunner yet. I just feel like his overall performance with confidence, with another year under his belt, that we're going to get a number 3 type of performance in terms of top 5 from Gunnar Henderson. So everything Jamie said, +1.
Yeah. So my number 3 is Austin Riley. I didn't want to have him at number 2 just because I don't know. I just want to see it again. This is a kid that when he came up, played a little left field, played a little third base. He came up at third, was struggling, got sent out to left, struggled there, came back and really just stole third base and kind of turned a corner in his career. He had a 5.9 WAR last year, approached 40 home runs, 100 RBI type of guy, batted .281, on base .345. His WAR was almost 6. Fucking Austin Riley. He's a really good player, and we're going to have to deal with him for a long time down in Atlanta. So he's number 3 on my list for third baseman.
All right, number 3. I'm going to go with somebody that I'm surprised when you guys both sent me your list. Neither of you had on your list, period. It's Raffy Devers at number 3.
I had him number 6.
He was,
so the reason that I think a lot of people struggle with Raffy Devers was because of his defense early in his career, but the offense has continually been there for Devers basically throughout the course of his career. And the defense has steadily improved enough to become a slightly below average defensive WAR defender. He's in that -3, -0.3, -0.5 range. But this is a guy who once hit 54 doubles in a season. He's hit over 30 home runs 3 times in his career. He was at 27 2 years ago. Broke 100 RBI for the 3rd time last season. He walks enough to have an OBP in the 350, 360 range, and the average is consistently 270, 280. This guy is an all-around complete offensive force. The only thing he doesn't do is steal bases, and if I'm going to
You're not really looking for stolen bases out of your third base.
If I'm going to take something off the list, that's pretty much a negotiable one.
That's a historical power position. I don't need stolen bases.
I think this kid is still somehow underrated across baseball, and maybe it's because Boston stinks over the last couple of years, but this kid's really freaking good.
He's really awesome. Yeah.
And to me, I think he's still improving. And guys, remember, I think
How old
he's
is he?
only
28, 29?
No. He's 26 or 20, just turned 27.
What, did he enter Major League Baseball when he was 14? It feels like he's been around forever already.
He's heading into his 8th Major League season.
Damn.
Excuse me, maybe his 8th Major League season. He's just 27 years old. He's going to be 27 for the entirety of the year.
Wow.
I think this kid still slept on. I think he's the third best.
He was number 6 on my list.
I was going to say he was right. I had him at one point in my list. I honestly typed up my list and moved it around so many times. I got to a point I was like, you know what? I just got to send it in.
Yeah.
I had to be done with it because there was as exactly as you're mentioning, we're projecting for 2024 and there were so many arguments to play, put guys in different spots. But for number 2 for me, I'm going with Austin Riley. I do feel like after having 3 straight seasons of 30 homers, 90 plus 30 homers, plus 90 RBIs, 5 WAR season, although he has been as high as number 1 on some rankings, he's not there for me because my number 1 is, in my opinion, the best third baseman right now in baseball. But I do think Austin Riley, who has hit the 2nd most homers by a third baseman, he's exactly as you mentioned, Jamie, continue to just produce at a very high level on an already stacked team. We talk so much about Ronald Acuna Jr. and Matt Olson and different guys for the Braves, but Austin Riley, sadly, at 26, is still a top third baseman. And I don't think he's number 1, but I think for 2024, he will still be in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, I think it was MLB Network had him number 1.
Yeah.
So, you could put Austin Riley anywhere in this top 5 and probably anywhere in the top 3.
Yeah,
really.
I was going to say, Jamie, if you put him at 5, I might fight you.
But when you're top 3 right now.
If I gave you the choice right now, Gunnar Henderson or AustinRiley as a GM, which are you choosing?
Oh, as a GM? Oh. Well,
you know what I mean?
Are you
Gunnar Henderson.
Are you playing contracts involved? Or
no, just forget contract. Let's just assume they're equally paid.
I'm going to take Austin Riley.
He's 26.
Gunnar Henderson
he's not
still
that
has,
much older.
I think, the reason I think it's an interesting debate is I think Austin Riley has, I don't want to say plateaued, but kind of hit his peak, whereas I think Gunnar Henderson still has maybe some better days ahead.
Which is totally fair, but if you're going to say that the guy's peak is 71.
Oh, his peak is tremendous.
109 home runs in 3 seasons.
Yeah. But I'd be lying to you if I said I could just make that decision safely. Like, I'd want to sleep on Gunnar Henderson if presented with that.
Sure. So that's, and listen, I'm not knocking Gunnar Henderson.
It's a win-win situation.
Sure, absolutely it is. But like if you're saying you're guaranteeing me 3 straight seasons of 33, 38, 37, 107, 93, 97, I think I'm going to take the definitive choice because it's not like Austin Riley's a bad defender. He was a Gold Glove finalist last year.
But Gunnar Henderson might exceed those levels. So that's why I think it's a good barroom debate.
He might.
He might.
He
might. So number 2 on my list, I'm shocked you guys just threw him away outside of the top 5.
It's a tough list.
I mean, there might not be much more of a consistent player in baseball than Manny Machado. You pretty much know you're getting 100 RBIs, more or less, pretty much 30 to 32 home runs. He's going to play spectacular defense for you. He's a year removed from having a 366 on base. I think San Diego got off to a weird start last year. And, you know, he was just a little behind some of his regular numbers. But, I mean, Manny Machado is just like, damn. You know, Austin Riley probably deserves to be slightly ahead of him, but I gave Manny like the veteran kind of hat tip here.
Respect that.
And kept him at number 2 on my list. I think he's going to have a bigger year this year than he did last year. And him and Tatis, any team in baseball would be pumped to have those two at the center of it. So, you know, Manny Machado, number 2 for me. I guess I respect my elders.
That's fair. I mean,
sure.
Does that mean I have to respect you?
No.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. And so here's my thing with Machado real quick, and then I'll give you my number 2 very quickly because it's the same as Renee's. It's Austin Riley. Machado, I've never seen a player go from somebody I loved to somebody I hated so more in a career than Manny Machado. When he was with Baltimore, I idoled that guy. It wasn't a third baseman. I'm not right-handed. I have no power. There's no reason for me to idolize that guy.
Yeah.
But the guy was he is still a great baseball player. Don't get me wrong. But I just love the way he played the game. And then all the stuff in San Diego started happening.
That's what's in.
Yeah, and that's not fair to him, some of it. But
no, they just kind of they've been like a little bit of a mess the last 2 years, the Padres.
A little.
And I will say that if I had to do this all over again, the flip, if I put Manny Machado in, would have been for Alex Bregman. And I know that that's so unfair to say you're going to put Isaac Paredes over both of those guys. And that would have been my flip. But anyway, my number 2 is Austin Riley as well, Renee. Because of everything we just talked about. You give me 3 straight years of plus 30 home runs, 3 straight years of near 100 RBIs. The guy hit 303, 273, 281 over the last 3 seasons. And I know, Jamie, you said you maybe want to see it a little bit more. I don't need to see any more from this kid. I think that he's become a Gold Glove caliber defender, a 1+ D WAR over each of the last 3 seasons, 30+ home runs each of the last 3 seasons. To me, he's solidified himself as a top two third baseman.
He's annoyingly awesome.
Yeah.
And I hate that the Braves are in the NL East.
All right, our number 1 guy.
I guess we're in uniform across the board here.
We are, and if we're not,
nobody left them off their top 5, did they?
I hope not.
Yeah,
if you
Alec
do,
Bohm,
see
right?
yourself out of here.
Yeah, Alec Bohm, number 1.
All right. Number 1, by no surprise at all, in my opinion, Jose Ramirez, without a doubt. Listen, when you have these numbers, 22 home runs, /277, 351, 476, lowest strikeout percentage of all third basemen, 24 stolen bases, led all third basemen. We talk about third basemen don't steal bases. Well, Jose does. Ramirez also has the highest base runs of all third basemen with 5.4. Listen, the numbers he's put up at 31 years old, it's now. He's here. We talk about that consistency. The Gold Glove finalist, 4-time Silver Slugger. He is in a consistent stretch where we're gonna know that Ramirez is what you're gonna get from him, I should say. And so for me, I know I've seen him in various spots on rankings, and it's appalling to me. He is the best third baseman in baseball. And I'm going, 5.1 WAR. It's Ramirez.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at his career numbers, a career 280 hitter, basically, a career on base of 355, a career slugging of 499, and a career OPS of 854. Gold Glove defense, steals bases,
does it all.
Can put him anywhere you want in the lineup. He's just the total package. Jose Ramirez is awesome.
Yeah, listen, we don't need to add too much more. It's Jose Ramirez for me as well, and it's been Jose Ramirez for me for a couple of seasons. When we talked to Mandy last week, you flat out asked her, Jamie, what does Jose Ramirez have to do to get the national respect and love that he deserves? And I hate to be this person, but I almost feel like it's play on a good baseball team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that stops this guy from being a recognized stud. 150 or more hits in 7 of the last 8 seasons, and the only season that he didn't do it in was the COVID-shortened year. 50 doubles a season about 5 years ago. 44 led the league. 44 doubles led the league last year. The defense has improved too, right? Maddie talked about it. The defense has gotten better over the years. He's really made it a point to make his defense more playable, and he's become a Gold Glove caliber finalist. And I think at this point, it's not questionable who the number 1 first baseman is. Yeah. Number 1 third baseman. It's Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, 5 2020 seasons in the last 6 years, a 45.6 WAR over his 11 seasons, which is 33rd all time for third baseman. I mean, he's in a league of his own.
His OPS plus, which is based on like the 100 scale, if 100 was like, WAR basically, his career OPS plus is 129.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Career.
He needs to get out of there.
He's been as high
Go
as
to a better team.
167 he had one season, Tyler.
Yeah. How about over the last 3 seasons, 5.8, 5.8, and 5.0 flat offensive WAR?
Jeez.
I mean, it's insane. The guy has posted a near 43.0 WAR in his 11 major league seasons. And think about it too, like the 1 year, everybody's O WAR is going to take a dip because of the COVID shortened season, and he still led the league in O WAR with a 3.1.
Yeah, he's good at baseball.
Yeah, well, something I'm not good at is guess that stance, but we got to get there in a second.
Yeah, because I'm going to have to pee pretty soon, Renee. So we got
you have drank a lot.
Yeah.
And I was going to say you should chug another Miller Lite.
Finish the coffee and down this delicious Miller Lite.
I will say I had a little cough that was lingering, and thanks to my Miller Lite, it helped to clear things
there you go.
up.
See, it's basically like going to the doctor.
Throat. Yeah, something light.
Miller Lite. It's like a doctor's appointment.
A Miller Lite a day keeps the doctor away.
Cheaper than your copay.
All right, so the one thing I did want to just quickly hit on before we get into guess that stance is the updates around Blake Snell, who has been, we know he was offered by the Yankers. The Yankees. They could be the Yankers. Oh, that Miller Lite, man. The Yankees, just kidding, offered Blake Snell before. Apparently, they still have that serious interest. And what's interesting most about this is Jim Bowden did come out on Major League Baseball Network Radio saying that if Zach Wheeler's camp gets greedy, Dave Dombrowski could pivot to Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery right now. And then he could play this year with Wheeler, Nola, and then Montgomery/Snell as his first 3 starters. Backload the deal, let Wheeler walk as a free agent. No. But now the speculation continues because Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery are still out there. And Jim Bowden's comments had me like, what? But Jamie, I think Blake Snell is going to the Yankees. I don't know where Jordan Montgomery is going because we have heard so many various reports. The Rangers are no longer interested, allegedly, and the Phillies still seem to be
Chris
the favorite.
Young said it. It's not allegedly. I mean,
well, yes,
he came out and said,
it is the truth. Definitively,
don't expect any more big additions here. Yeah, I mean, the more this takes, the better the chances Phillies have. Because, I know Todd's like he said 1 or 2 year deal. I think ideally they would just want a 1 year deal with that potential Wheeler extension coming. So, the longer the Jordan Montgomery market takes, I think the better it is for the Phillies' chances of getting them on that 1 year overpaid deal. This is the longest offseason since 2017 where this many top 50 free agents are still available this late into the season. So it's pretty weird.
I wonder whose fault that is.
What's that?
I wonder whose fault that is.
Yeah.
Could it be Scott Boras?
Scott Boras. Yeah, it's getting quite annoying. Bora. If he wants to use the Phillies to potentially be a real suitor and or drive up other teams' prices, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. And then with that, and sorry, Cleveland John, I didn't realize you're a Guardians fan, but I should have put that together, Cleveland John, as we were talking about, needing to move our guy Jose out of there. Listen, another thing that talking about moves and free agency, Mike Trout has been on the hunt. He was asked, and had been talked about in trade possibilities. And Mike Trout did say asking for a trade would be the, quote, easy way out. He said he's talked to the front office and is content right now. There
No,
might
he's
be
not.
a time, maybe, wait, it gets better. There might be a time, maybe.
No.
I really haven't thought about this. Have you not really? But when I signed that contract, I'm loyal. I want to win the championship here, Jamie. And then he also said he's been pushing the Angels owner, Art Moreno, to add free agents this spring. He's been speaking with free agents apparently. And there have been free agents that told Mike Trout they want to play for the Angels.
No,
and
that's
now
not true.
Moreno's got to make that decision to sign them. So Mike Trout is hoping to bring a championship to the Angels, and he's loyal, guys. And he hasn't even thought about a move.
I'm really looking forward
Cap or no
to the post-Angels Mike Trout playing days so we can stop talking about this. They're not going to bring in pitchers. They didn't spend big money. You just lost baseball Jesus. You're not going to win shit in Anaheim, Mike. Just say you won out. It's the easy way out because it's the easiest way out. Just get the hell out of there so other people can see you play baseball.
There's a way that Mike Trout can win a World Series, and it starts with
asking
Hi,
out.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Sciambi. Welcome to MLB The Show.
Yeah. Listen, as the saying goes, don't pee on my back and tell me it's rain. Like, don't tell us. Have you ever heard that one?
I thought it was pee on my shoulder and tell me it's raining, but same thing.
Back, shoulder. It's back. I'm pretty sure. But the point of the quote
Shoulder's worse because then it would be sprayed to the face. I mean, right?
Yeah, but like it's all gross. But the point of this is Mike Trout.
Unless you're into golden showers, then it's probably not gross. Probably sounds right up your alley.
You know, I'm trying really hard, Jamie, to get.
You took me
I
there.
was thinking it. It's a saying. It's a saying. You wouldn't. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The point
Speaking
is,
of peeing, I'm gonna have to do it real soon, Renee.
pee yourself. Pee yourself.
Would that be good content?
Nope.
No.
Not in your khakis. Listen, the point is, Mike Trout, we are very aware of the trajectory of the Angels. There's nothing that signals that you guys are going to be potentially winning a championship anytime soon. So don't
just
claim that you haven't thought about it and you want to win. Everybody wants to win a championship with their team.
Hashtag
Everybody.
free
But
Herb.
that doesn't mean you're going to win.
Free
right.
Trout. Please,
that
just
doesn't mean you're
out.
going to win a championship with the Angels. So this blasphemous comment about like, I haven't really thought about this. I'm happy here. I'm loyal. We're going to win a championship, and I'm staying until we win a championship. Well, you're going to be staying there for a long time then, till death do you part at that rate, because I don't know if there's ever going to be an Angels championship in this lifetime.
Yeah, I've been...
let alone in his career.
I've been watching baseball for a long time, and ever since I've watched baseball, the Angels are allergic to obtaining starting pitchers. They had Jared Weaver, and that's it.
C.J. Wilson.
Yeah. Mike, you're not going to win
one time.
Yeah, like you're not going to win in Anaheim,
time.
Mike. I'm sorry. I just really want to stop hearing about it every year. You don't want to ask. It's like the Dame Lillard thing all over again. Like, we get it. And guess what Dame eventually did? He asked out. It's your only chance of winning. Ask out of there.
Exactly.
It's a crap franchise. Okay?
Okay, so in the chat, you guys are hilarious. They're singing to you, Jamie. Don't go chasing waterfalls. But I'm now Googling because I did hear pee on my leg and tell me it's not raining, but it was in a movie.
Watch what you're Googling here.
Oh, true.
You're going to find yourself in some real dark corners of the internet.
No,
right?
you're so right. You're so right. Okay, let's move on. Let's get into Guess That Stands, where it's not going to accidentally take me down a rabbit hole of very inappropriate things on the Google. So we've been doing decent. I forget who Friday was because I just, pushed it out of my head. I moved on.
Was Derek Hall?
No, he was Thursday. Friday was somebody ridiculous, I feel like. Who was Friday, Tyler?
Friday was, give me one moment, please.
My Slack channel would load.
Roman Quinn.
Roman Quinn, that's right.
Oh, my Lord. All right. So it's been getting more difficult. We have 2 weeks left of Guess That Stands, guys. I hope you're enjoying this segment just as much as you enjoy the rest. I know we got a nice shout out from Ray, who was saying our show's been becoming one of his favorites, that he's now locked in every day, because every day we're 11 a.m., Monday to Friday, live here on PHLY Phillies podcast. All right, so it's time for Guess That Stands. It's getting extremely difficult, but hopefully you guys can help us out in the chat. Let's see who we've got today. What's the grading, Tyler? Where does it stand?
I would say that this is probably, I actually think this, based on this individual picture, might not be terribly difficult. I would say that this, on a scale of 1 to 10, is probably a 4. Because I think that there are defining traits of the silhouette that you could
pick up on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here is your player.
I'll see it in a minute when it's up on YouTube.
And again, I think that there are defining traits on this one that I think that you will be able to figure out.
Last time we had a 4, it was like Bryson Stott. I think Marsh might have been a 4.
I will tell you, it's not a current player.
Okay. Oh, good. We're getting hints.
Well, because you said you're comping it to 2 players that are currently on the team. This player is not on the team.
Okay, I'll take that hint. Oh, okay. Is that a hand? Right? That's not a hair.
That is a lefty. Right hand on the bottom of the
Like that is his hand up by his head.
Yeah, it's a lefty.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I was looking at it backwards.
Wait.
Whoa. I saw his back.
No, that's a righty.
No, now I see him facing us. But at first I saw his back to us. Gosh darn it. I literally see both. Again, the shoulders. I don't know if.
No, it's a lefty. Wait, is that his right or left hand? I can't tell.
Guys,
see, again.
For the people that are listening on podcasts, I'm watching these two try to have follow-throughs where they're like, what happens if it's one hand on the bat?
No, it's got to be a lefty.
Righty. No, I think it's a lefty. I do. Okay, wait. I just said 2 different things. I think it's a lefty. I think his left hand is up by his head. His right hand is on the bat. And that's his left.
I'm going to go with my gut, which was lefty.
Oh, my gosh. Tyler, how is this a 4? I literally can see.
Well, it would be a 4 if you got the handedness right.
Jeez Louise.
Is it lefty?
Because it's not a lefty.
It's a righty?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay,
it's a righty. All right, everybody in the chat. We got a righty, not on the current team. Oh, okay. I'm texting you.
What?
The minute you figured out it was a righty, I had a feeling you might get this one.
Okay. Jeez. In the chat, it is a righty.
Randy's
I know.
right. It's definitely either a righty or a lefty.
It's one of the two.
Have yet to see a middle hitter. Stand square in front of the plate like
okay, there's
Billy
not
Madison,
many guesses in the chat because Ray was saying he was going to say Turner, but obviously it's not.
I am officially in. And while everybody's in here getting tortured with us, hit that likes up button, please.
All right, Jamie's answer is locked in.
Oh man. All right, I'm just gonna pull one out of left field.
Who was the bust out that she did that with?
30.
Joe Thurston.
Thurston.
Listen, when in doubt, just throw a name out.
This is probably Casper Wells, right? You guys remember him?
Okay.
Hey, the Sixers are signing Darius Baisley.
Oh.
I didn't even know they had him.
Yeah, he was on their G League team.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
I don't know if we did this guy already, but I'm going to send him to you. And let me know if we did him already so I can give you a different name.
I am in.
I don't remember who we did anymore, so I might be able to tell you.
Okay. You know, I'm just gonna let it rock.
Corey Dickerson was great, Dave P. That was one of the better things Clentech did.
Yes, we did
Dang
do
it!
him already.
All right. Let me try
Renee
again.
really just wants to see me pee my pants on the air today. That's all I'm gathering from this. Hurry up.
All right. Renee has another answer locked in. We are locked in. One of the two of you are correct today.
I mentioned this guy earlier in the show.
Any day now, Jamie.
Any day now.
Any day. This guy's coming around.
It's not me.
Now batting for the Phillies, third baseman Maikel Franco.
Any day he's coming around.
It was the over-exaggerated power swing that did it for me. Mm-hmm. The launch angle, his shoulders are up, like he's just trying to hit bombs, which I respect. But yes, Maikel Franco.
Well, you and Mickey got it correct, so congrats, guys.
Look at us,
congrats.
Mickey. Look at us.
I saw a lot of other answers in the chat, and we were all wrong,
Who
guys.
did you guess?
Jim told me.
Who's a lefty? Bad day for Renee. Bad day.
Oh, shoot. He is. Okay. And he's like much taller and a whole different build. I told you, I just threw out a name because I don't know.
David Bell. There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I don't know. Not me doing all that to figure out it's a righty and still answering with a lefty. Sounds about Monday.
Yeah. Sounds like somebody's having a case on the Mondays.
Yeah, it's a case on Monday.
You know that movie?
I do.
Well, no. Hell no, man. I reckon you get your ass kicked if you say something like that around here. Oh, Tyler.
It's Office Space.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sounds like somebody's having a case on the Monday. What?
That's a good one.
No, hell no, man. Get your ass kicked for saying something like that.
Well, I'm happy for all of you guys that are having a positive case of Mondays. And if you want a case again, you can check out our lovely sponsors, Miller Lite, for a nice case.
Yes, thank you, Miller Lite. I'm pumped to have you
More
aboard.
taste, only 96 calories at Miller Lite. Happy to have them on board with us.
I'll have to shotgun one of these bottles. I haven't shotgunned a bottle.
Oh, is that a thing that you can do with a bottle?
Yeah, you just keep it sealed, put a hole in it, and then open it.
Okay, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling.
Why not?
Yeah,
why
you can shotgun a bottle.
In fact,
you can shotgun anything.
Why put off for tomorrow what you can do today? Do it now.
I'm about to wet my pants.
Do it now.
I'm not in a proper shotgunning
But
phase.
if you shotgun and peed yourself at the same time?
That's very possible.
That's gross.
All right, I'm about to get up and leave.
No. We appreciate you guys all. You can now get ready to leave. Hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m., same time, same place. More Miller Lights, more baseball talk. John will be joining us live to give us updates from down in Clearwater. 23 days until we're down there, 35 days until opening day, and about 3 seconds until Jamie pees himself. So have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow, friends. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.